For the love of money, people do a lot of crazy stuff. You know, the whole idea that somehow the state of Alaska paying out portions of the money that comes in from the sale of oil, well, that's just a crazy idea. What on earth could Alaskans possibly do with that money that wouldn't be better spent in the government's hands, right? I mean, I've been talking literally for years about this issue, that it was only a matter of time before the legislature eyed that big pot of cash and said, you know what, we could use that better than you people could. Yeah, regardless of what the law says about how that money belongs to the people, we're just going to go ahead and take it. We're going to use it for your own good. That's what they've done. Now, at this point, it's only the governor who's done it. Well, at least he did last year. He took the money that was set aside, so the way it's always been. The legislature says, well, look, the formula says that X amount of money is supposed to go to pay out to the people, and that Y amount is supposed to go into the general fund to be used for state government, and then the rest of it is supposed to be put in for future use down the road. Well, what the governor did is he took and he vetoed half the amount that had been set aside by the legislature. He's like, no, we're just not going to use it. Now, by doing that, he didn't put the money into the pot where the legislature could use it. He basically just said, I want you Alaskans to get used to the idea that you're not going to have a dividend anymore. I mean, he didn't actually say that, but that's what his actions said. And some of us, when he did that, called it out and said, this is what he's doing. And people were like, oh, my goodness, how can he do that? A lawsuit was filed. We're thinking, yeah, the courts are going to side with us. The court said, nope, governor can do that if he wants to. The Alaskans are like, how can the governor do that? It's against the law. It was appealed. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court just ruled, the Alaska Supreme Court just ruled on Friday. It turns out the governor can do that. Yeah. He has the power to decide that regardless of what the legislature wrote, that he can just go ahead and decide not to give the money to the people. What's going to happen to it now is that, yeah, sure enough, it's going to be available to the legislature to use to fund government, which is why the legislature already decided when they passed the budget for this year that they're only going to give us about half the amount that the dividend actually would be worth. The same thing that happened last year by veto, this year has now happened by decree of the legislature. So, what some of us have been saying all along is now happening. And I have to ask you a question. How long do you think it's going to be before that entire $60 billion is gone? Not going to be long, my friend. And then they're going to come for the rest of your money. Because right now, those of us who get that dividend, we think, oh, this is our money. We get it by virtue of the fact that we live in Alaska. We're therefore entitled to a portion of the oil. Yeah. Well, according to the legislature, they think that they're entitled to all of the oil. And furthermore, they think that they're entitled to at least a portion of your income. It's only a matter of time before they decide that they're entitled to all of the oil money and all of your income, too. Why? Well, because they're the nobles, of course. And we serfs have a duty before God to give our money to the nobles. It's our lot in life, don't you know? If you want to engage me on this topic, send me an email, steve@radiofreespeech.com. I would love to talk to you more about this.